Okay, in this video we're going to do a pre-installation assembly on the locker. When the locker comes to you, a couple things to note. Usually there's a hardware pack sitting inside here, so that's what we'll use for pre-assembly. The reason we have to assemble this before we put it in, the reason it doesn't come completely assembled is, as you can see, the ring gear doesn't fit over our locking ring. So you'll note a couple alignment marks here. They're usually not black. I made them black so you can see them a little better. They're usually just scribed in. You're going to want to try and keep these alignment marks aligned. At the factory we put this on a V-block and make sure that you got good run out before we ship them out. That's what that's all about. And we know that if it's in that position, it does. So the other thing you might note is you can see these are double drilled for 3/8 or 7/16 ring gear bolts on this particular locker. This is a Dana 35. However, the cap has only got one size. You may need to drill that out up to the 7/16 if you have the larger ring gear bolts. The reason the carrier is double drilled is because you wouldn't be able to drill that. It's too hard. So let's get started here. We'll take the cap off, the small cap first. Ooh, let's go the other way. So we'll take the cap off. Sometimes they're a little sticky here. Pop it off. So once we take that off, you'll have the ring gear can go slide on. Once the ring gear is on, we'll bolt that in place later. The next step would be to install the springs. These are the return springs for the locking ring. This is what will put you in unlock. Install the locking ring. And then at this point we're going to find the alignment marks and align the alignment marks. And one of the more important steps here that should be taken, and I'm not going to actually do it in this video, but I'm going to show you, we want to use a Loctite 263, and you put a little bit of Loctite on there. It's important that you get the Loctite in the female portion of the threads as such, and on the male portion. So you definitely want to Loctite these bolts, and put the locking tabs on. I'm not going to put every one of them in just to save us some time, make this video a little less boring. So we'll put on a couple of these bolts. Okay. Now what I would do is torque these with a torque wrench to 12 foot-pounds, I believe, on these 1/4-28 is what they get. Your instructions should be exact on that, but I believe it's 12 foot-pounds on the 1/4-28 bolts. Do that on all 8 of them. Once they're torqued, you'll want to bend the tabs up here, up against the flat, to make sure they're locked in place, and that's good for this end. Then, of course, you've got your ring gear bolts that need to be installed. Stick a couple of those in, get them in place. And again, I'm not going to put all of these bolts in unnecessarily. Once you get these bolts in, you will torque them down to the proper torque per your manual. And this locker is ready to install into the housing. Okay.